NBA moms receive a lot of love from their sons, and rightly so.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. I want to thank my mother.
The media can't get enough of them either. But the dads, they don't get nearly as much public attention or affection. But that all changed in the past 2 NBA drafts.
I wanted to pump everything in me inside of him so he can reach the highest point.
You have to be proud. Very proud. I'm proud of you, son.
Black fathers were front and center, crying, celebrating, rejoicing with their sons, and the long road they took to get to this moment. The Undefeated sat down with T, father of Grizzlies rookie Ja Morant. Winston, father of Cavs rookie Darius Garland. Charles, father of NBA superstar Chris Paul. And Wendell, father of Bulls second-year big man Wendell Carter Jr., for a candid talk about black fatherhood and the joys and challenges of raising NBA sons.
Well, guys, thank you for being here and welcome. And this panel discussion, it was kind of a brainchild of myself and Mr. Carter here. And I think it started from watching the draft. Perhaps maybe every player in this year's draft, the African-American players walked out with their fathers. There's always been a perception that these black fathers don't exist. When you saw that, because you didn't get that moment with Chris Paul, what did seeing these black fathers getting announced at the draft mean to you?
Oh, it meant all the world to me. I still get chills thinking about it because for the last couple of years, me and my wife go to the draft to talk to the parents. When Chris came, you know, it wasn't like that. But that didn't devalue me because I knew who I was to my son. But to see them on a national stage, show the fathers, oh man, it was wonderful.
And speaking of the family, we've got Dad T here with you, and I know that the backyard workout.
You got viewed on national television. You were sharp too now.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You're sharp now. You might have to be the sharpest dressed dad all time.
I don't want to get a little emotional up here, man, but I just want to thank him for everything he done for me. He made me who I am today, and I'm just thankful for it all.
Great job.
What do you think society saw from that moment?
When he got drafted and we stood and embraced, I was a little nervous because I was praying that he didn't break down because I knew I would be nothing, you know. But, you know, getting through it and letting the world see that, you know, they are positive black men behind their kids was everything to me. You know, it wasn't just, hey, world, look, I'm Ja Dad. It was, we made it as a unit. Knowing what my son went through to get to that point and the work we did in the backyard, seeing him reach a goal that most dream of but never get to, and hearing his name called, it was everything to me.
Yeah. Well, do you remember when you walked out on stage, the world sees you, what was that moment to you, and how do you, what statement do you think that made?
He talked about it from the time he was 7, 8 years old. This is what I want to do. And so, you know, and just to hear his name called and you know, being a part of that was incredible. Words can't express.
All the hard work in the driveway, working hard, you know, he's doing his thing in school. Everything's lined up the way it's supposed to be. And we never talked about going to the NBA. That never came up. It was just, okay, you're in high school, you know, you're gonna go to college, and it just so happened to drop. We talked about probably the NBA right when we found out, hey, you're probably gonna be a lottery pick, but that was, I mean, that just took, it took me to cry on TV to let everybody know that we finally made it. So that was great.
Mr. Paul, you have a group you lead, fathers and men of professional basketball players, president of this group. What do you think is the perception and reality of black fathers, period?
Perception is that we're not there. All of us have been there. I mean, I watched my kid come in the world. So the perception is you show up when lights, camera, action, you know, that's what I think about it. You know, when the kid start being something in high school or being something in college, then you show up. I mean, all of us have been there, all of our kids' lives. There's no knock to Mr. Ball, but I say the most recognizable dad in the whole NBA has been him. And you get to see Curry because he played, and Steph is a great player. But there's so many other fathers, but you don't talk about them fathers. You know, only the negative stuff. So we try to highlight the positive stuff.
I used to watch NCAA games, and all you would hear Billy Packard talk about for a long time there was the tragedy or the lack thereof of a black dad. He's been raised by his mom, and this went on for a long time, and I'm saying to myself, man, the guys that grew up with, you know, two-parent households, they're no good because, you know, their dad is there, you know, so when does it stop? It almost, for me, became, you know, man, close to obnoxious. That's all you heard.
And also, I mean, not just that, I've been at the game sitting right beside my wife, and there's a couple more dads could tell you, sitting right there beside my wife, and they interview her. I'm just sitting there just smiling. I'm just smiling.
When they were first, it bothered me a little bit because I was like, this is still happening. We'll be at the game, and we'll sit at the Bulls game. I'm sitting right next to my wife, and they'll come and say something to her and won't even acknowledge me. One guy said he didn't even realize I was his father. Yeah, so it's definitely, and then I had to learn. It used to upset me. I'd get up and walk away, and you know, I said, "Why, you know, babe, did you just see that?" And so it's been on, but it's lightened up, and I've kind of took Charles' advice and don't let it bother me. You know, as long as me and my wife are okay with it, and she'll say, "Hey, this is Wendell's father," and I'm like, "Okay, now we can squash it," but it'll still continue. You know, somebody walk up and, "Hey, Miss Carter," and I'm sitting right there, and I'm like, I'm right here.
I haven't experienced anything yet. I'm guessing it's too new.
Yeah.
You know, as far as disrespectful or anything.
Or even in the college recruitment or any of the agent dealings or. Let it out.
Like the crazy thing, especially with the agents, like they would just calling, but they would call my wife. Yeah. A couple of them would call my wife. So my wife and Ja channeled all the phone calls to me. And it was instances where I'm talking to them and they were like, when is a good time to get your wife number to talk to her, you know? And a couple of them were like, "So y'all are married?" "Yes, we're married." Like, what you think? Yeah, so as far as disrespectful, it was like multiple phone calls. A couple of dudes, they would call my wife. Then when my wife channeled them to me, and I'm like not feeling their vibe, like, "Nah, you can't do nothing for my son." And they'll change their number, call me from a different number, you know, and then call my wife from a different number too. And she was like, "That's the same person who just called us." Same accent and all. So yeah, it's crazy.
There have been instances where not so much as verbal, but there's been body language where a coach would position himself to his back to me. There have been things said to the point where, you know, if you want to get to the son, you got to go through the mom. And I'm sitting right there, and I'm like, wait a minute now, did he actually say that?
Well, the moral of this story is, we need the guys to say, "Hi, Dad."
If I had to choose the trait that I think me and my son share, it would have to be the comical part. I tell him I'm Peter Pan because I'm never gonna grow up. I just love joking. So he called himself Peter Pan Jr.
He definitely has my demeanor. He has the stone face.
Now that your sons are going into the NBA, what are you most concerned with on and off the court? What are you most looking forward to, and what do you think are going to be the biggest challenges?
I want them to build great relationships with people, and I want them to love people and enjoy people, but understand that it's some vultures out there, it's some piranhas out there, and they're waiting, both male and female. They're waiting. So that's my biggest concern off the court is that so far he's done a great job of surrounding himself with some quality friends and some quality young men and women. So yeah, that's my biggest concern is just that he understands that everybody that's smiling is not with you.
Another thing, you know, we have to worry about his relationship with the women. I'm gonna say it. You know, we have to watch that. Actually, what we did do, we set it up where you had to sign a disclosure if you enter his apartment, or so nothing gets out. As far as somebody wants to take a picture and then put it on the internet, you know, we've got that covered. So we're just trying to get him to understand, you know, to watch these relationships, take it slow, and just keep your circle small. Because I've lost friends. I had people come and ask me for money, and so I lost a lot of friends. I might have, other than my wife, I might have like 3 friends right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Just over financial reasons?
Yeah.
How did you explain it? You say it's something about family and kinfolk?
Family and kinfolk.
That's different.
It's a difference. It's a difference.
Explain the difference.
Well, some of the relationship that you built over the years when your kids were small, as opposed to somebody that's coming on once they start becoming, you know, popular or famous and stuff like that. Because some of my best friends have never asked me for a dime, whereas some of my family members have asked for more than a dime, and they feel a certain way. But you and your wife, like me and my wife, it can't be me and my wife and somebody else. It's me and my wife sat down and explained. We had to talk to each other about how we was gonna handle the whole thing. And like I say, having God in our lives, you know, the friends that you thought was your friends wasn't really your friends if it's based on your son's money. Because it's not my money, it's my son's money. And it's not just when he got drafted, this might be ongoing. So you and your wife have to sit down and talk about this stuff because it's gonna come. Chris been in 15 years. And like he say, I done lost some friends, but I'm still upbeat, and if I see him, I respect him, whether they respect me or not. Because everybody ain't happy that my son is in the position he is. And I get that. But I'm not mad at nobody. I'm just thanking God every day that my son has been in this position because he's the one that earned it. I didn't earn it.
How did you maintain your position as father, you know, even though Chris was making the money?
Even though Chris has made the money to maintain who I am, first thing Chris wanted to do was move us out into another house. And me and my wife, we wasn't ready. You know, we was happy where we was. The real eye-opener is when he bought his 2006 car, and I went down there to look at it, and it cost more than my house. That's when I was like, wow, you know, this boy making some money. But once again, the money don't change who you are.
Right.
You's his father. You've been there. I mean, it ain't like you gonna start acting like I need a Mercedes next week, I need this next week, you know, your son know you know your son. If it's something that you need to sit down and talk to him about, sit down and talk to him.
Right.
You know, you ain't gonna take a back and say, well, I can't talk to my son. He's playing in the NBA now. You know, I can't. Oh no, don't never feel like that, or you won't be no good to him. You won't be no good.
Did you ever have to have conversation with him about the people that he was around or wanted to become part of his circle, or?
Yes, I had that conversation with him and his brother. You know, about certain people. Some people come into your life for a season. And then some people you just have to, I always say, we don't get rid of people, people get rid of themselves. How they approach you, how they act towards you. And then if all of a sudden you become this money tree. So the same way I feel, Chris have had to get rid of people in his life because they don't have my number, they got his number. And sometimes he won't tell me, and CJ won't tell me. But later on I find out this person ain't around no more. Yeah, because you didn't stop giving him. But you know, some things he did on his own, some things I had to sit down and talk to him like, hey, this person is, you know, a little bit much. You know, when it become a little bit much where he's thinking about it, you know, that's too much.
Yeah.
You mentioned your son, CJ. Talk about his role with your son on a daily basis, because he's basically his personal manager.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have somebody you trust already to be with your sons when you're not there. And I don't know who your guy was for Wendell, but how important is his role?
CJ is so, I could, we talking about Chris.
Take your time, man.
When I talk about CJ, he's been everything to our family and to Chris. Like I say, all these avenues that Chris has been in, CJ's been right there. And CJ is just so respected by the NBA, the players, and all the different people that Chris deal with. CJ is that go-to guy. My wife was that go-to guy for the family, but now CJ is with Chris. And man, it's
beautiful to see.
It's beautiful.
How do I see myself and my son?
I see him loving basketball the way I love. He's very aggressive, so that's how I used to play. I used to play aggressive, but he loves the game, and I love it too.
He's caring, so that's one of the traits. And on the court is, be a dog. Be a dog at all times, and he's got it in him, and he's ready to show it.
We stand before you as fathers, sons, husbands, brothers, uncles, and in my case, as an African-American man and the nephew of a police officer.
Perhaps the most powerful moment in SB's history was when your son, Chris Paul, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and Dwayne Wade stood on the SB stage and basically talked about the problems with race and police brutality and how even us as a black culture need to do better.
Right.
Gun violence and whatnot. Did you see that coming? Did you know that was coming? And you just were watching the show? Did Chris say, "Dad, make sure you turn it on when it starts"? Or
nope.
So you didn't watch it live?
Mm-hmm.
So what are you thinking?
He told me it was gonna be something special that night.
That's it?
That was it. And it was special. You know, I don't have to know everything, details, but when he tell me stuff, I listen, because he tell me for a reason. But yeah, it was special, and like you say, it was moving. It was hard, touched my heart to see my son up there, with those other guys making a statement like that.
Let's use this moment as a call to action for all professional athletes to educate ourselves.
Sadly, in our society today, you have to have the talk with your son. And every father's talk is different. And this has gone on, probably your father gave you the talk and your fathers gave you the talk. What do you recall about talking to Chris about it? And obviously he's older now, but being in North Carolina, what do you remember about the talk that you gave your sons?
I just always tell them be safe, be aware of their surroundings, and if the police stop you, just be still, back then. So, just pull over and do what he say. That's what I used to say. Pull over and do what he say. But all this stuff is new, because we talking about our young boys being scared. I have to watch myself. It ain't just the young, it's just about being, black. It's sad, but it don't make me mad, it just make me more aware of it can't get comfortable.
Yeah, my thing with Darius was how he had to conduct himself. And so even in the classroom, just walking the hall, you've got to be extraordinary. You've got to be 5 times better than the white kid here. You've got to do everything right. And the part with when he was starting to get his license, and we'd go over the handbook and what should you do? We'd role play. Woo! Police, what do you do? I get my license. No, you show them your hands. Show them your hands. So yeah, we went over.
What was his reaction when you told him that?
Yeah, we watch enough news. He was starting to get it. He was starting to understand that, yeah, this is real out here. It's potential war on little brothers, and here's the things that you got to do, the things that you've got to be real good at, and yeah, just watch yourself. Yeah.
What I tell Ja is, anytime you see a police, give them respect regardless. Like, even if you're walking out the gym at the game, hey, how you doing? And keep it moving, right? Because I think your attitude and the perception that the police have towards you, especially if they see you carry yourself in a positive way, makes sense. Just follow instructions. All you want to do is make it home.
And your son's a big dude.
Yeah.
That's already intimidation.
And I used to get it too. One time I got pulled over and he told me to get out the car, and I got on. The guy maybe about 5 foot tall, and he backed up. And so I shared those kind of stories with him. I made him watch the documentary 16 Shots. It's actually in Chicago. And I said, well, you're in Chicago now, and you got to be careful because these kind of things happen. What I do is I show him and let him see the current events, so it's not coming from me, and we just can't have a proverbial talk. He can actually see what's going on in society.
Real quick, tell people about the name of the organization you're president of and your mission, and it seems like you got to recruit some members over here.
I'm a president of the Fathers and Men's of Professional Basketball Players, and we just like a support group. We try to support each other. It's a lot of things that we can help you with, and a lot of things that you won't have to go through, or if you go through, you got an ear. Just take your time and keep your family intact. That's the main thing. Yeah. Keep that core family group intact, and you'll be fine with whatever come with me. Keep that core together. Don't let that money determine who y'all end up being. Hello, Chris Paul. This is Dad, bringing you a little short message, letting you know how proud I am of you and love the things that you do off the court as well as on the court. Hope you have a healthy season, boy. Enjoy yourself.
I hate 12. I always told you were trained to go. Show the league.
Well, one day when you go into your second season, you got to get over your injuries. You got to be punctual and learn how to be a pro.
Hey, son, work your tail off, stay consistent, and most of all, have fun.